What is going on, guys? My name is the Clive Killer. I hope you're having a killer day, and in today's video I'm going to be telling a story from my childhood when I was about 10 years old. It's an epic story, and as you can tell by the title, it was how I accidentally almost burnt my school down. This is a crazy story, and I've got some gameplay in the background of UFC too. Just some random games, nothing too special, but just so you can see something. And before we start, I'd just like to say I might continue these story time videos depending on how much you guys like them. So this story takes place back when I was 10 years old in grade 4, I think it was. Yeah, so when I was that age, I was kind of a little shit, and I was not a very good little kid at all. In fact, I was a very naughty kid. I got in a lot of trouble in primary school, but don't worry, I'm kinda better now. Kinda. But yeah, so I had this small group of friends, two other friends, and they were also naughty like me. We're probably the naughtiest kids in our grade. No, probably not the naughtiest, but one of the naughtiest kids in our grade. And we'd always do bad stuff. We're always talking, mouthing off to the teachers, swearing, and all that other stuff. And we're also doing heaps of other stuff, which I can explain in future stories. But this story takes place. Uh, we wanted to, basically, it starts out, we wanted to start a fire at school. So we worked out how we could do this. We talked about it for ages, and we were so hyped up about it. This sounds so bad, but we're so hyped up about this. And then one of my friends, let's just call him James. This is one of them, and the other one we'll just call him Jimmy. So James had a friend. No, he's James' mum smoked cigarettes, and she had a lighter. So what he did was he ended up stealing that, and then he brought it to school one day. So me, Jimmy, and James set out on our adventure to start our fire. So it came to the big day when we had the lighter, and James rolled up to school and was like, "Dude, I got the lighter." And so we were so hyped for recess and lunch. Where we were gonna do this? We all day we thought about how we can, not all day until recess, we thought about how do we do it and not get caught, and where we're gonna do it, what we're gonna burn. So we decided that we're gonna go to the toilet and get heaps of toilet paper and paper towel, and we'll take that onto the schoolyard. So right before recess, we went into the toilet, grabbed all the paper, went out onto the into the yard, and I'll just explain what our yard is. So it's got a massive oval, a couple of basketball courts, and it also has a little bush area over next to where the main school building is. And around the oval there's like a path, and the teachers can't really see what's going on over there. So that's where we headed. This is recess now. I also forgot to mention that what gave us this idea was we found heaps of lighters around the school, but they were all empty and not working. They could only get the sparks, so that's what brought on this idea. So now it was recess, we were over where the teachers couldn't really see what was going on, and we put all the paper towel, had it in our pockets, we put it onto the pavement. Then we got our lighter and we lit it, and it went up. There's pretty big flames, and there was quite a bit of smoke as well. So we kicked it out before anyone could see, and we were there, we were cracking up, we were trying to get rid of all the evidence, and I thought I was the toughest kid ever to be on this earth, and that just made us worse because we wanted to go bigger, and that's where things got real. We didn't do anything else at recess, but we talked about what we're going to do at lunchtime, and then we talked about it, and we remembered there was this bush area right next to where the school is. So we were like, we're so lighting a fire there at lunchtime, and we barely could get through the next two hour and a half, whatever it is, that from recess to lunch. We were just so excited. We were like jumping around the room and stuff. It was going to be so good. Little did I know that this was going to get out of hand, and we were going to make a fire, something that we could not handle, that would scare us a lot. But so lunchtime came around, and we like got more paper from the toilets, and we headed outside, and we waited about 5 minutes for everyone to get out. And then we went over and went into that bush area. It's not a very big bush area. It's probably like 5 meters by 5 meters, but had a couple of trees and small trees and a bush or so, and it was quite nice. But so we went in there, We put our paper towel down, and we grabbed sticks and leaves or whatever, and then we just lit it. And then it started kind of small, but then we just kept chucking more and more on the fire, and then it started catching one of the bushes on fire. So we stopped the bush, right? The bush started catching on fire, and then we stopped it from burning all the way through. But then it started getting bigger and bigger and heading towards the building. It was a brick building, but it's still, the fire was still big and we couldn't put it out. We were like absolutely shitting ourselves because we couldn't stop this fire that kept getting bigger and bigger. And we saw it heading, like, it started burning a bush next to the building, and that caught on fire, and there was no stopping this bush. That bush just took off because it was kind of dry and dead. It wasn't a very lively little part of bush. But then it started like big flame. This bush was just a big flame basically, and it started burning that whole side of the brick wall, and it was just, the flame was going up against that. It couldn't have caught on fire, but like that bush was on fire, and we realized we couldn't stop this, so we absolutely piss bolted across the other side of the oval. Around, there's like trees around the back of surrounding the perimeter, and we ran behind all those so we couldn't be seen getting away. And we got away from there, and then we could just see it from the other side of the oval. And then after about 10 minutes, the fire kind of died down. All the teachers and about 50 kids were standing around it. So we decided we'd go and blend in with the crowd so no one would suspect it was us. And then we could just see this massive black mark up on the wall, like where that bush was. It was just a massive black mark. The brick was covered in black. And we were lucky that this didn't actually get any bigger and actually burn the building down, because it could have just taken up that whole little bush area, and it may have actually ended up burning the building down. So we were scared shitless. For the next week they were trying to find out who did it, but they didn't end up finding who it was. Very lucky, because we probably would have been expelled, which would not have been a good thing, even though it wouldn't really matter because I went to a different school the year after anyway. But yeah, that's that crazy story. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I also hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.